Hi, my name is Vishal. In this video, let's have a look on this tool which is basically used to rotate. Though we have a transform tool and then we can rotate the objects. We have a rotate tool separately here, and we can access this tool by a keyboard shortcut R. Just you need to click anywhere in the canvas, click and drag, and then the object gets rotated. So here there is an anchor point. You can shift that anchor point and then you rotate the object and the transformation applies from that point. So I just put that transformation, that anchor point at the edge of this petal. Make sure that so now just click and drag it, and then you get a rotation there. As you know that to make a copy of an object while transforming, if you hold Alt, you get a copy there. So you can use this idea and then you can constantly duplicate the objects there. So I can just hold and then press Alt. We have other tools to achieve this in a smarter way, but this exercise is just to practice this rotate tool, so you can use this. There might be better ways to do this radial symmetry. So just you need to rotate it and then hold Alt, rotate it, hold Alt, and then you get a nice arrangement of leaf petals which are radially distributed. In this method you can just slightly randomize the placement, which can look more organic. Like sometimes you can put more gap, sometimes you can overlap them like that. So that's why it looks pretty nice. So radial symmetry is achieved with this tool, which is basically used to rotate the objects. Sometimes, let's say if you have done half of the objects and then you want to mirror the other part of the symmetry, I can say. So in that case you can basically use this reflect tool, or you can use a keyboard shortcut O. Okay, before selecting that tool, make sure that you have selected the objects there and then choose the reflect tool. Okay, for that you need to click it 2 times. One, I put the anchor point, and there I click a point, so that becomes the mirror axis. So you need to click first and then click there, and then you get the mirror of the object. So when I'm applying this object is getting flipped to the opposite side, but you can just click, and when I click that second point, I need to hold Alt, then you get a copy of that. Then you can get a flip of that particular half. Even generally, let's say you made a nice floral design, and you have only 1/4 part of it, then also you can generally use this mirror tool. So you need to select the mirror, click the center, and then here, and then you hold Alt, and then that becomes a mirror. Then you select all of them, select the reflect tool, click there, and then click here, hold Alt, and then you get a copy. So it generally gives you the radial symmetry in a easier way. Generally in this particular leaf petal pattern, it might not look great as you expected, but there are some other designs where this will seamlessly looks good. So these two are fantastic tools to transform and mirror, rotate and reflect the objects. Let's have a look on the scale tool very similarly. So if you could see here, we got the scale tool. I can use as a shortcut to access that. So what I do is first I select all that petals which were arranged with the rotation tool. And now what I do is I press S on the keyboard to get the scale tool axis, and then just drag it, and then you get the scale tool working. Let's say if I hold shift and drag left and right, so it only scales the width of that particular shape. Now if I hold shift and drag vertical, so it scales only in the y-axis. And if I hold shift and drag in the corner, that gives a proportional scaling. So you got this scale tool. Now what I need to do is I need to first hold shift, drag it small, and then once you achieved a particular scale, hold alt and then release, and that gives you a copy. Now you can apply rotation, so press R and then just slightly rotate that leaf petal. Then again use the scale tool, and when I'm scaling it, I need to hold shift to get the proportional scaling, and then press alt to get a copy, press R and then rotate it there. And then again S for scale, hold shift and drag it, hold alt to get a copy, then press R to rotate, and then arrange it like that. So if you see, you have created a beautiful arrangement of leaf petals which looks sort of marigold flower. You can generally reduce the stroke thickness at a time because it was looking too strong. So scale tool is basically helping me to arrange that with different size but concentric. And we have also got a shear tool. You can just select that shear tool, just click anywhere in the canvas and drag left and right, so that becomes sheared. I can also do vertically so that I can get the vertical shear. And if you want to get precise value while doing all this, what you need to do is double click and then you can enter the value there. It works for all the tools, like whether you are using a rotation tool, you're using reflect tool, or you're using the scale tool or the shear tool. Okay, so that's how these transform tools are useful. Apart from that, you can use your regular transform tool which does the same job for you.